Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. My name is Ryan Selvey, and I'm very excited to welcome Lisa back to the show. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, Ryan. Thanks for having me back, honey.
Yeah, we love having you on the show. Today, we're going to be looking at some new Photoshop features that are changing the way that you retouch. But for someone who is not familiar with you or your work, do you want to give a quick introduction as to yourself as an artist?
Yeah, yeah. So let me get my little keynote thing going here so I can show you. So yeah, my name is Lisa Carney, and I'm an entertainment advertising agency kind of retoucher gal. I'm on Behance. I always love to promote Behance first thing out because y'all got to get your work out there and show your stuff. And Behance is free, so there's my little plug. So yeah, I do this kind of work. I do streaming, television, motion picture, that kind of stuff, and I've been doing
Are you a
it
big
since.
cinephile yourself, or are you kind of like, I just work in the industry, I'm not into the things itself?
God, that is so interesting. You are the first person to ask me that, which I find very interesting. I used to be. I used to go to the movies all the time, and I'll tell you, there's something about once you start working in the industry, you don't tend to see the stuff anymore.
Yeah,
Isn't that
it's like
crazy?
working in a restaurant, right? Like it's like you're not going to eat the food even if you love the
Yeah,
restaurant. Like it's kind of its own thing. Um,
yeah,
but no,
yeah,
it's cool to
and it's
see
interesting.
that change, and see how much like your work can also still feel inspired, even if you're like, oh, maybe I'm not necessarily in the movies as I used to as much, but something that you're still interested in, being a
Yeah,
part
and you know
of.
what's interesting? I kind of want to mention something. So again, these are finishing pieces, and I don't know if people know this, but there's a big divide, if you will, between designers and finishers. So these were designed by other people, and then I finished them for the most part, except for that top
Right.
one. And then this would be a design piece. And oddly enough, I think design is much harder, but you don't get as much money for that. Isn't that fascinating?
Oh, that
So
is yeah,
it's
it
a
is weird.
harder
It's a weird
job.
turnaround.
Yeah, it is really weird, but it's really fun. So, like ideating and doing that is so fun. Um, and now, oh my gosh, it is changing so much with the technology. You can do it, dare I say, easier and faster, which gives you more time to contemplate what you want to make
Oh no, that sounds
versus,
like bad
but
news
do you
for
know what I
me.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh, does it sound like bad news? Like, is it
Yeah.
better if you have to go fast?
Just like this get more time to second guess all my decisions at any given moment.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's very true.
These are so fun. It's also fun to see how much like genre not specific all the work is. You have kid stuff, you have serious adult stuff, you have like some campy zombie-esque stuff on the top right,
Right?
next to then more of like, Red Notice, which has completely different vibes. And seeing
Yeah,
how
you know,
you're
Ryan, it's
navigating
a
all
it's
that.
a really interesting I feel like a little bit of an outlier in that a lot of the folks I talk to, they have a style or a look, and I absolutely do not because I work in service of somebody else's job or desire or design or industry, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. And so I can't have a style.
Yeah, you have to be style agnostic pretty much.
Yeah, exactly right. Which makes me have to be more flexible, which actually I would say that's where the creativity is for me because I have to do things that I don't like. I've never said that
Yeah.
out loud before.
Imagine
Oh
that.
my gosh. Yeah, I literally have to do jobs where I would rather it be a different look, but that's not my job.
Yeah,
Um,
that's not that output that is being contracted for.
yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
saying hello in the chat. By the way, we have hellos from Jew. We have PG Ardeki, Marsha, Kevin. Kevin says he's excited to see what's new from Lisa. So,
Oh, awesome,
very
awesome. And I
interesting.
gotta say, Andrew Kavanaugh is killing it on Firefly videos right now. He's doing such amazing work and really expanding what you can do. So hats off to him for that. He's doing great.
These are fun though. These BOO, which is the Bureau of
Yeah, so
Otherworldly
Boo actually got
Operations.
killed. You know what's funny? I don't get a chance to talk about this often, but I am really dyslexic. I have really bad ADD. I'm good with visual images, I would say, but I can't do type. So
Mhm.
I don't normally get to do logos because I'm not a type person. But
Yeah.
Boo was really fun. It was a really great way to explore and do different techniques. And I always try to encourage people to try to get out of your box. Like I'm not known for logos. I do beauty retouching. That's really what I'm known for, compositing and beauty retouching. And
Yeah.
then every once in a while, I'll get handed a bone. It's like, hey, can you do that? I'm like, well, I think I can. Yes, let me try. right?
No, and it looks like it turned out great too. You said that it got killed, which is kind of funny since it's Boo, which is all about death.
Right, too right. Well, I'm really excited to talk about some of the new features that are coming out, and some of them are, I want to say, small items in retouching. Like, I think sometimes we think everything's got to be big and huge and like, oh, this is brand new. It's gonna change everything. And the gems for me in Photoshop are the tiny little things that save me so much time. And they might not be very sexy, but oh my God, they help me so much, if I can say that. So, are we cool to jump on in with some of this
Yeah,
stuff?
absolutely. We'd love
Awesome.
to see the not sexy features.
Yes, excellent. Oh my God, I've just now planted myself in a new not sexy zone. Bummer. Um, well, one of the things I want to talk about first before I dive in is for me personally, one of the challenges is trying to find out where are these items. So I'll watch the releases, people will show what's new, and I'm like, oh my God, where did you click? Wait, where are you? And there's often two different places or three different places to do the same thing. So I kind of like to show my little keynote board where I can say, oh, look, when you're in the remove tool, the contextual taskbar is going to change. And I don't know if you guys have noticed that every tool you go into, that contextual taskbar completely changes, and there's new things popping up daily, it feels like. And so I want to talk about that and talk about maybe some hacks to fix things that don't work quite as smoothly as we would like. So I'm
Yeah,
going to go
because
ahead and
everything's very
jump in.
personal and very completely tied to how you work, and like you want to make sure that you're having everything reflect your workflow. Also, to Lisa's point, if we do anything and you guys aren't sure how we get from point A to point B, and you have any discrepancy, you're probably not alone. So please throw it in the chat, and we'll make sure that we then can repeat and go over it. We're here for about the next 50 minutes or so. So 50, not 15.
Great.
So if you
Yeah, I
guys
was
have any
like, oh,
questions, please let us know.
yeah. And also, Ryan, I don't know if you guys can put in the chat. My email is lisa@lisacarney.com. And I always will answer questions. If you get down the road and you have questions you want to ask, please, please, please.
Yeah, because you're also a
Because I
teacher,
like,
right?
I am. And also, Ryan, the best thing I ever did for my career was teach. And I'm going to recommend that to anybody because when you work in entertainment and you've been working in Photoshop for 35 years, like I have, you can get really cocky and be like, oh, what are you going to show me that's new? But when you teach, you have to stay on top of the new stuff. And it saved me. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to put that
I
out
think
as a
it's
little mama's advice there.
I think it's Marge Simpson who said something like, "You just have to stay one chapter ahead of the student." It's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah, I
so
used to
funny.
at UCLA Extension, I used to teach Macromedia Director, and it was not a product I used. And every night before class, I would have to learn what the lesson was.
What's you're gonna
Yeah.
teach?
Yeah.
So
Oops.
funny.
Anyway. All right. So let me
That's how it
talk
goes.
about distractions, finding distractions, because it's gotten really advanced and it's going to keep getting more advanced. So this is something you always want to look for. Just as a production level, I'm going to tell you, I always Command J and make a separate layer just in case. So it's
Mhm.
non-destruct. And sometimes it'll make a new layer, sometimes it won't, but just as a habit, if you want to be non-destruct.
Of
And
course.
under the edit menu, you can find a bunch of reflection removal. We're going to talk about that in a second. But when you're on a tool, so here's my contextual taskbar. I'm presuming everyone knows you get that by going to your window at the bottom, contextual taskbar. And as I was mentioning earlier, every time you click on a different tool, look at it, it keeps changing. And folks, you got to peek there because honestly, they stick in some new beautiful things in there and you won't even know it. So, for example, I don't know if you realize this, but find distractions is there. And when you tap on it, you can get general distractions, people, and wires and hit remove. And it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It'll take about a minute. Now,
And it's
I know
gone.
that's not
Look
very
at that.
sexy. That's kind of boring. But
I'm
oh
here
my
for it.
gosh, can you imagine having to either circle it with the generative remove tool? I mean, just easy peasy.
Or having
But
to go back and
also,
use like the stamp tool way back when. I still like I don't want people to ever forget that. I don't want people to forget that like 4 or 5 years ago we were still like only using the stamp tool or like content aware fill. Like
so
life is was
do you
so
know what's
different.
I love that you just mentioned that, Ryan, because I had a job yesterday where for some
Oof.
reason, I mean, let's just be honest about what happens with AI. Things just went wrong and my remove tool wasn't working.
Hmm.
I don't know why. Probably just had to restart, but I was in the job. I had to go back to the stamp tool. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad I know how this works. All
You're
right,
like, I'm
kids.
back in the Stone Ages.
Exactly right. So listen, I want to talk about two different things here. Well, maybe three. About there's all these features you will see remove, you'll see reflection removal, which I'm going to talk about. And in different applications, you find it in different places. So I have a smart object here. So if I double tap on this, this is going to open up Camera Raw.
Okay.
Because I got a question about this the other day, so I thought this might be really useful to talk about. So when you go to Camera Raw, I just have to move this here, you can go to the erase tool, and there are things like reflections, people, and dust. So people
Yep.
think, oh, I can remove the wires in Camera Raw, but there are no wires there.
Right.
But we're not panicking because we can do it in Photoshop. So I just want to remind you that sometimes, even though some of the features are in Photoshop, some of them are in Camera Raw in Photoshop, and some of them are in Lightroom, you got to be flexible and know that things are going to change. So
Yep.
I want to show you a problematic one. Okay, this is
Ooh. Okay.
Manila. Yeah. Ooh, look at this. Who are we kidding? But let's
That's
see
amazing.
what it can do because I like to talk about everything's not a one-click wonder.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. It's going to take a minute. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to show you how I would wrestle this and try to improve it.
But also
So
even
we're
just
gonna
thinking without the idea of getting you started, because getting anything halfway there or even a portion way there is better than zero. It's always going to be better than zero. So it's exciting to at
100%.
least get it there.
Yeah. And I feel like this might mitigate the frustration factor. So if you don't expect that one click is going to do everything, and you
Yep.
know, okay, here's my step one, what's my step two, then you'll smooth along easier, I will think. Okay. So, all right, not perfect, but not bad. So I'm going to do something hopefully relatively quickly. I'm just going to, oops, going to move this. And I'm just going to real quickly take out the couple spots here, but obviously we have a much bigger issue here, which is the detail. So
Okay.
my solve for this one is to do a Command A to select all and go to my generative taskbar and say, what did I say? Add detail to buildings. I think that's what
Oh,
my
okay.
prompt is. And then I'm going to do a partner model and I'm going to do Gemini with this and I'm going to hit generate. I believe that was my prompt. I'm going to fully confess to you, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I suck at prompting. This is definitely my learning curve is learning how to prompt and prompt
Yep.
better. So I don't always get it right the first time. And I have decided to let that be, to relax about it. So I really want to encourage you guys to relax about your prompting and you'll figure it out. Just know that you may have to go a few times and ask people. While this is activating, I'm going to say the other thing I really highly encourage y'all to do is partner up with other people. Like the community at Adobe is amazing. And there's
Oh,
people in
absolutely.
this chat, like start talking to each other, and you're going to find the people who are the best at prompting. And like, for example, Jesus Ramirez is probably the best prompter in the world, I think, for
And
me.
he is in the
Oh,
chat, by the way. He did say hello. He said that you were
oh,
a
Jesus.
hired gun and a good one at that, which
Oh,
I think is definitely a fair comparison.
awesome. I love you, Jesus. And also, you guys stay afterwards because Jesus is on right after me at 10 o'clock. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at what this did. So there's
Wow.
not great, a little spot cleanup. And then with Gemini, well, wow, there you go.
Wow. That's
So
remarkable.
please do not think that it's a one button deal because I
Right.
never, when you see the demos people do, it's like, oh, look, it's perfect. No, it's not perfect. But how can we make it perfect or make it better? Cool?
But also still, even if it's not perfect, like, we've only been live for 15 minutes. And when you pulled up that other one, I was worried about where we would even go with it. And rather than
Yeah.
that taking up the entire time, like, it's only a few minutes later and it's already at a place where it's like looking really good.
Yeah. And this went slower because I was talking. Like when I do it on my own, it goes much faster. All right. So I want to talk about another thing that is, I think, pretty great, which is the reflection removal. And so I take a lot of photos. Again, we are doing Lisa not being sexy today. A lot of times I am taking pictures for reference. Like that painting is really beautiful. I was in Paris and I was like, with my sister, and boy, she is not looking happy. And I just wanted that as a reference, but the reflections are really disturbing. So I'm going to go under here to edit and go to reflection removal. And you can do preview, standard, or best. I'll do standard. Well, I don't think the best took too long, so I'm going to go ahead and do best. 25
25
seconds. I
seconds.
think we
We
can
can
wait
fill 25
25
seconds.
seconds.
We do have
Now,
a
I do want to.
question from
Oh, good.
Marcia about double tapping on smart objects and having it open in camera raw, saying that they always went to filter, camera raw, filter. Both of those ones are totally valid. You can actually change your
Yes.
preferences to what happens when you're clicking on them. If you just go to your general settings, and then you can go from there.
Yeah. And I like to always be able to go all the way back to my standard camera raw.
Yeah.
Not the filter, but the standard camera raw. That's my own personal preference. So holy guacamole, look at this. And not only that, I got a bitchy picture of my sister, which I
See, that's always what's
absolutely
crazy to me too. Is when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, they got rid of the reflection." But not only did they get rid of the reflection, they also got rid of what was, actually being taken a picture of.
I mean, look at
Um,
that. Isn't that
yeah,
awesome? You know that's
that's
going to be on a
wild to
Christmas
me.
card. I'm going to tell you that right now. She's going to be furious. She's not watching, I hope. And I'm actually working on a series of self-portraits of myself, all done in reflection windows, and I'm pulling myself completely out of them.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's really interesting. I think it's really interesting. So, reflection removal, this is my way of doing it. There's other ways of doing it. Like I said, reflection removal is in Camera Raw, it's in Lightroom. Um, I kind of like this notion of having multiple places to get, like I have a bag of tricks and I want three ways of doing the same thing. So that's always my plan is to keep three different ways of doing stuff. So I'm going to go back
Yep.
to my keynote for 2 seconds to make sure I'm on target here. So distraction removal, just to be clear, you're on the remove tool and you tap on the wires and cables. And then if you're in Manila, you may have to do a little more, but we're not afraid, right? Nobody's afraid.
Specifically
Just you
Manila.
may, yeah, Manila is crackers for this. I mean, look at that. That's a pretty average street scene in Manila. All right. So again, with reflection removal, you were going to tap on, we're going to go to the edit window. I don't know if I said that out loud. So go to edit, reflection removal, if you're doing it inside Photoshop. Okay.
Absolutely. That's great.
Awesome possum sauce. All right, I want to talk about layer cleanup because oh my gosh, I'm like the Strega. Strega is Italian for witch. I do these comps, and as a finisher, I get a comp from someone else. I get over 200 layers, over
Yeah.
200 layers in my
Yeah.
comps. I mean, it's crackers, and nobody labels anything. It makes me absolutely, absolutely crazy. And I think I actually, pardon me, I do need to open that file because I did not open it. Please do hold while I get my demo ready.
And I also say that, yeah, no, I definitely, when was working in an agency years ago, I would always have to work with other people who weren't the best at naming their layers. And when you have a handoff of any kind and
Yeah,
there's not that understanding of like what something is, you find yourself making everything go invisible and then visible and
yeah,
being like, wait, what is this changing?
yeah,
You're like, oh, I can delete this layer. And then it ends up messing everything up because it actually was referenced for something else. Uh,
yeah.
Big headache.
And
Big, big
Ryan,
headache.
I get it. Look, it is nuts. Our clients are asking for so much so fast, and then someone's got pulled off on another job, and someone else has to pick up another job, and oh my God, and you're just trying to figure it out. I get it. I 100% get it. However, good housekeeping is so important. So, as I said, I'm a finisher. So, this was for School Spirit, and this is my final piece. This was the comp. And it, it's things are worked out. But the worst part of this comp, and in fact, let me just pull out the properties here for just a second. And again, no shade on anyone here. This is just hard.
Yeah, that's a lot going on. We've got layer 19, layer 51,
Layer 47. I've
hue
had layer
saturation
101,
30.
right? So I'm gonna, and I hopefully you guys can see this on the screen where my cursor is. I'm gonna move it over so everyone can see this. Right here, it's a little brush. It's a little cleanup brush. You tap on that, and it's called layer cleanup. Oh my gosh, I know, not sexy, but so important. You can delete empty layers, you can rename layers. And let me pull it up to about this. So it's going to AI try to name a layer because look, I've got layer 50, 58. I've got, it won't rename the adjustment layers yet, by the way. I've got layer 60 that's turned off. I've got 59. I've got 47. So let's go ahead and hit apply. There is a limit. You can only do 200 layers.
But also,
And do you
guys,
know how I know
don't
that?
have more than 200 layers. Just peak, cap yourself at 200 layers.
Right? So I'm going to tell you, I shouldn't know that, but I know that because when I get my file, when this first came out, this layer cleanup thing, I tried it and I kept getting an error message saying you have too many layers. So that's a
And
problem.
that's just
But
a
look at
critique
this.
on your own process.
Yeah, well, I know I didn't build these. So someone else did. So
Oh,
anyway,
okay,
it's going
yeah.
to try to label it as best it can. So it'll say things like two circular shapes. That's what this layer was.
Okay.
But before it was just layer 75.
Yeah.
That helps me already.
Right.
That's already a huge help. So,
Oh, and also
um,
for people who are watching, how did you make it so that you were easily able to isolate the visibility of that layer?
oh, I love it when you ask me these questions. My favorite tip is Option, click on the eyeball.
And
You
it'll
can
also be Alt
also,
on Windows if you're using
oh,
a Windows machine.
sorry, I'm such a Mac snob.
Nothing to apologize
Uh,
about. I'm just here to I'm here to be your
my yin
bounce
and
off
yang.
board. I can be your Windows counterpart.
Awesome. Another really awesome trick or tip is, so right now I've got a full layer on top because I wanted to show you the finish. So if you take on a Mac, you hold the control and the command key, and of course I'm using a tablet, everybody. You all should be using tablets. Everything that is right where my cursor is will show up.
Very nice.
So if I want to find something and I'm like, well, what's this? Everything that is at that point will be there, and I can see if I can get there. Now, when
That's
you have over
smart.
200 layers, sometimes you got to take some of their stuff off. Oh, that was it. It found it. It was right there.
Oh,
I
very
was
cool.
looking at the shadow. So do you
Yeah.
understand? I'm going to just say it one more time. Control, Command, click, and everything that is where that cursor tapped will be there.
Even if there's visibility obstructing it above it, you can also still
Exactly right.
access it.
Exactly right. So these are adjustment layers. Now, I do want to let you know that there's little bugs now and again. I did do the sweep, but you'll notice this layer did not get deleted.
Gotcha.
Okay, so every once in a while, it will not delete every single layer, but this is new technology and it will get better as we go. Okay, so if anyone cares why this is in here, when you have multiple comps and you need to match color, we'll put the same comps in the file so we can see them side by side. So
That's
we know
smart.
we're sticking to the proper channels here.
And make sure
All right,
everything
so
feels cohesive.
clean up your damn layers and name your layers, please. I beg of you.
Also,
And
just
I,
want to
I
say
have
a quick
this.
hello to I see Ryan Benoit has joined us. Nate's joined us.
Oh,
Um,
yes, from I think you're in Shreveport, right? I think he's in Shreveport. He's in Louisiana for sure.
oh,
Ryan's
nice.
awesome, does great work.
And so if you guys have any questions as we're hopping through stuff, please let us know. Um, Lisa is a professional retoucher in the entertainment industry and a teacher, among many other things, logo designer. So if you have questions, please throw them in the chat and I'll be sure to pass them over to her. But right now we're just going through some new Photoshop updates, all with really cool new features that might not be the sexiest, but are extremely sexy when they speed up your workflow. So yeah.
Amen, right, honey? Yeah. So again, in the spirit of always showing you where these things live, this is at the very bottom of the layers palette, and it's a little broom.
Yeah,
Okay,
love it.
little broom. Click on it, and it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. And you can Command Z it if you don't like it. But why would
Oh,
you
cool.
not
So
like it,
it's not
huh?
destructive. But yeah, why would you not
Yeah,
like it?
yeah, yes.
Makes life
All
easier.
righty. So I want to review something about the Firefly Image 5. I don't know why I put this super sexy chest, but here's what you
I was
got.
gonna say you said we weren't working on sexy things, and then you pull up shirtless
You
people.
know, because I can't be boring. Come on. So the technology on this stuff is crackers. I mean, absolutely crackers. And again, there's some workarounds for some things. So I'd like to be clear about that at all times. So that's not the one I wanted. Did I put him up here? I did
Oh,
not. Let me
that's cool.
close her. Okay, we're not going to save her now. Forgive me. Got to open up that file again. Lots of files, you guys. Lots of
So
files.
it's all part of the process too. Like there's
Yes.
something to already organize once you're in your files, but we haven't yet cracked the
Yeah.
also file structure organization as its own
Yeah.
beast.
So I think y'all probably know this, but the technology keeps changing, and then again keeps changing. So Firefly Image 5 is amazing technology. So I want to get rid of his tattoos. So I'm going to do Command A to select all, and I'm going to go to Generative Fill, and I'm going to say Remove Tattoos. Oh my God, I can't spell. I think that's spelled right. Is that right?
Yeah,
Tattoos.
that's
Anyway,
right.
we'll figure that out. My biggest hang up is I can't spell. All right, so there's Firefly Fill and Expand, Firefly Image 5, and Firefly 1. Oh, you know what I didn't tell y'all? I'm in beta. I always use Photoshop beta. Now, I always use Photoshop beta because I want what's newest and what's current. What that means is some of this will be early access and some of it might be a little buggy, but I don't care because I want to be practicing on most current stuff. So
That
you
makes
have to
sense.
be on image 5 for this. And I'm going to go ahead and hit generate. And Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. It won't take too long. So
And also, the thing I
seriously,
will say is, you said you're bad at spelling, but the thing that I really love ever since we've been using all this AI is it's really good at typos in the way that like previous computing did not understand if you messed up one thing. Now it totally
yes.
understands, which is better and worse because I just like punch it in. I'm like, it'll get it. It's fine.
Yeah, we're there. Well, also we're visual people, aren't we? So,
Yeah.
and I will tell you, my friends laugh because I realize I misspeak all the time. Also, it's not just my typing. I'm consistent in my life, and we call it Lisa speak. Like, can people understand Lisa speak?
It's
So, I mean, look at this. That's
wow.
crazy.
It's pretty
Now,
incredible.
I want to tell you, of course, because I practice, I always practice. Every time you do something, you're going to get something different.
Yep.
And
I
that's the
mean, look at
plus
the
of it.
difference in
So,
veins also too.
exactly
Like
right.
one is way more exaggerated than the other.
So I would tell you, I prefer the second one I've done, the one I just did with you all, than I
Yep.
like the first one.
Yep.
And then sometimes what I will do is I will keep the multiple renders, I will mask them in and out. And I don't think people do this enough. Like you could, oh, let me get in the right tool. Excuse me.
Also, we have
I'm going to go to the
Rocky
paintbrush.
joining us saying, "Sorry, I'm late. Hopefully, I
Oh, the
didn't miss the
man, the
cool
myth, the
parts."
legend.
So,
So let's say
also
you
Roger's
wanted
here as
the,
well.
yay. Hi, guys. Um, so let's say you did want the vein on the camera left side from the first, then mask it in. Who says you can't do multiple renders?
That's
So on that note, I want to tell you when I do more renders, I don't render on the same generation. I duplicate it and render a second one so that I have options.
okay.
I'm a
Right.
little
So,
an
well, you also don't
outlier on
have
that.
destruction too.
Yeah, and it's just in case I want to keep it. So again, technology is amazing. And then there's my sister. She can go. She's gonna be so mad at me for that one. Glad she doesn't watch this. All right. So I talked about this, and this is what I meant about always updating. So Monday is my AI day. Every Monday morning, I spend an hour or two just looking at AI, and I keep the same images and I re-render to see what has changed
Oh
because the
wow. Okay.
technology is updating. So, for example, this render here, the change the shirt to be a button-down uh, blue denim. If I use the same prompt with the same, did I copy that? Let me see. Copy, paste. Yep. And I use the same model on a different day and on a different time, I'm going to get a different render. So I'm going to go ahead and I just want to, so I removed his tattoos just like I did the other dude. I'm not going to redo that.
Yep.
But what I want to do is just change his shirt to be a button, button up dark blue denim.
Oh wait, actually, I think that might have accidentally done remove tattoos for the prompt. So we will see.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine
But
because I'm
okay,
putting a shirt on him. Yeah, I think you're right. It did do it. Um,
it'll be.
Come on,
Let's
baby.
see what it identifies as a tattoo. It'll be funny.
Yeah.
Ted's little dream has
Oh,
joined
you're
us.
saying,
Hi, Ted.
oh,
Good to
I
see
see.
you.
I'm so sorry. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't do this one. Yeah. So in fact, I'm not going to re-render it, but what I'm going to do is show you what I did the other day. So this This render, oh, that's pretty similar actually, because I did this the other day. So this one
Mhm.
kept the same render. Now I want to do something different. I want to add, and I'm going to go ahead and open this as a separate file so you can see it. I want to change the shirt completely, and I want to change it to this shirt.
Okay.
Okay. because why not? We're going to put him away. Goodbye, honey.
Off to
I don't
the
normally, it's funny, I don't
laser
normally,
tattoo removal, actually.
right, like major tattoo removal. Okay, so let's say I want to use this plaid shirt. There's different ways of doing it. And do you remember I said about the one and done? So if I do change shirt to plaid,
Hmm.
boy, do you see there's no reference image? I'm not allowed to click a reference image. So
Oh,
what I'm going to
interesting.
do is copy that and I'm going to go to a different model. So I'm going to show you the mistake first. I'm going to go to the fill and expand,
Okay.
and I'm going to go ahead and load that shirt. I have to do this all the time with actors because they'll change the costuming out.
Oh, smart. I mean,
Yep.
not smart on their part, but smart on
Yeah.
the execution of it.
Right. So no go. It's a no go. So what am I going to do? What I'm going to do
Interesting.
is I'm going to go to a partner model and I'm going to go to Gemini. And what I'm going to do with Gemini, because Gemini likes a square better. Do you guys know that? Like
No,
Jesus
actually
taught
didn't
me
know
that.
that.
Yeah. So Jesus found out because he's genius, and this is why you want to partner with people. He realized that with a perfect square selection, Gemini does better. So now what I want to
Interesting.
do
I
is
don't know.
I don't know, but smarter people than me have figured this out. Now I'm going to go ahead and load that prompt.
Same prompt even in, same reference, but just different
Yep.
model now.
I should probably hit Gemini, generate.
We are about
And
halfway through our show.
okay.
So we are flying through some time, but we're already gone through so much. If you guys have missed the beginning, this will be available as a replay right on the same link. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. And then yeah, right after this we have Jesus coming on. So we had a whole day. This is just our first episode of streaming today, and then we'll go and there's plenty more where that came from. So, but we're still here for
So
about half an hour.
again, didn't work. And now this one, what I did is I did the same thing. I did change shirt to plaid reference. And if I click on the properties and you see it, it was change shirt to plaid using reference. And it generated and it was fine. But when I did it here, it didn't. But look what I said. I said change shirt to plaid. I didn't
Oh,
say with reference. So I kind of like to show you the mistakes because this is what I do. So little things like reference, even though the reference was attached to it, it
yeah.
didn't use it. Isn't that crazy? And
Has
then
to
I
give
did
the
figure
context
out,
to it.
yes. And then I did figure out if I use generative Firefly fill and expand, but I did a selection, this selection, it would work. But look
Okay.
how different. So
Right.
again, I'm just trying to show you this is my Monday morning AI practice. And I'm like, huh, what happens if I use Firefly fill and expand? Oh, well, it'll look like this. Well, he doesn't have his hands. I
Yeah.
don't want that.
And
Oh,
if
so
you have a
maybe
client coming to you
Gemini.
saying just change the shirt and you completely change the pose, they're gonna be like, well, that's not what I asked for. This is different than, what I was
Exactly right.
given.
And on that shirt, I did it on the blue denim.
Mm-hmm.
So it was already a shirt. The hands were already there. I did the same exercise on the tattoo guy,
Yeah.
and I got that.
Interesting. Okay.
So isn't that interesting? No arms. So I'm trying to, what am I trying to say to you guys? I'm trying to say you got to be flexible, or at least I have figured out I have to be flexible and I need to keep trying different things out. And the worst time to do this is when you're under the gun on a job.
Yeah.
The worst. So Monday morning, 2 hours, an hour or two is AI day. And what else did I want to say about this? Flexibility, practicing. I mean, obviously, sometimes you are going to do it under the gun. And then again, I'm going to remind you, talk to your friends. So Jesus was just telling me the other day that Firefly has gotten, pardon me, Flux has gotten better at texture
Mm-hmm.
and detail. So now he's using Flux more.
It's always
So, and
bouncing
he may talk
around.
about that. And I wasn't using Flux at all until last week when he said it, because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, no, I only use Flux for type. And now I'm like, oh, try it again. So, the point here also, please remember all these models. Which one do you use? And keep changing them, try them. So I want to now jump to something very exciting, which is rotate object. And this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool technology. Again, it is new technology. So you got to have a little bit of a grain of salt with it,
Yep.
meaning, you know that there's going to be some stuff here. I'm just going to close out some windows here for just a second.
And
And did
as
I
long as
open?
you're going into it and you're understanding that, like you said, it's not always going to be the one click button, that then
Yeah.
also helps kind of shift expectation and shift what you're going to give a little bit more care into it to then make sure that maybe the output is closer to what you want. I'm seeing
Yeah.
also
And I,
in the chat, Pearly Cream Cheese was saying in quotations, and keep the same pose is also, yeah, a helpful thing to then also add to then make
yes,
sure that you
yes.
get that kind of output that you're looking for.
Did I mention yet my crappy prompt writing? I think we did. We being the royal we.
But I think you're doing great.
Uh,
I love your
but I
prompt
want
writing.
to, oh, thank you. I want to show something really quick. Let me get out of this keynote because I want this on the screen and then I'll go back to my keynote. Jesus Ramirez, who we all love and adore, screen capture this gang. This is a good prompting guide to
Okay.
remind you of what to use. And the whole negative prompt thing, some people are not into it. I'm trying to use negative prompts more, like do not change pose or do not add things. But
Okay.
here's a really good prompting guide to consider. All right, let me go
So that's
back to Photoshop
subject,
here.
setting,
Oh,
lighting,
sorry.
what was it? Subject, setting, lighting,
Mood,
mood, lens, and texture.
lens. And I'm sure Jesus in his session will have other advice because he's so good about this. And find someone who's good at this.
Yeah.
Make friends, right?
It's all
Don't
about your
don't be
network.
don't be on your own here. Please do not. All right. So I'm going to do a little fun thing where I have this bike that was captured in Paris, but in a different section of Paris. And I want to rotate, I want to change its positioning. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the background on this. So there's a
Yep.
bike, and obviously it does not fit in this scene at all. It
Yep.
doesn't look right at all. If you hit Command T to transform, Command T to transform, look at that contextual taskbar. It is now changing, and it's going to say rotate object, and it's going to do its thing. And again, this is another one where it can take a while. You gotta kind of figure out what you're going to do here and how it's going to work and what's it going
But
to
even
look
that
like.
was pretty speedy for
It
being
was
able
pretty
to
speedy.
essentially create a 3D object, essentially.
I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to scale it. You can change the perspective, which I probably wouldn't do in this case, but you
Yeah.
could. You can change the rotation, like, oh, I fell and I crashed. I'm gonna die. No. Sorry. I get a little excited. And obviously it's really close to a curb here. I probably won't be exactly at the right size, but we'll get the idea here. So this is low res. Do you see how this looks a little crappy?
Mm-hmm.
We're not scared. We're gonna go ahead and hit the return button and let it do its thing. This is very exciting technology for me.
I
Very
was gonna say this,
exciting
but this is
because
it's something that must have been a nightmare for you
oh, honey,
before
I can't.
any of
I
this.
just can't. Do you
Yeah.
know Jesus? I know I'm on the Jesus bandwagon here today, but he
We love
taught me
Jesus.
about using Adobe Dimension to try
Mm-hmm.
to get objects and Stager. And I am not a 3D gal. I'm just
Yeah.
not. So that looks rocking in terms of its size and position and its rotation.
Yep.
But obviously the color is complete poop. We're not afraid again because we tap Harmonize here on the contextual taskbar. And Photoshop's trying to help you because it's got edit rotation and it already knows, like, hey, lady, you're probably going to need some extra help here.
Yeah, a little
It's right.
bit something to just bring it all together. And so when you're
Yeah.
doing harmonize, it is going to then kind of flatten everything, right? But it's going to put it on a layer that's above it, so that then
Yes.
it's
It's
flattened,
going
but
to
it's
merge
above
the
at least.
background with it. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
glad you mentioned that because I'm going to talk about something different in just a second about changing your scene.
Okay.
So it's pretty darn quick.
And you can also use this even
I
if you're
have
not
coffee.
rotating an object as well. Like even if you're just bringing anything, you're doing any sort of compositing, you can still get the prompts to do it just by going to your selection tool, not the marching ants, but your like move selection tool, and then clicking on
Yeah.
something, and it should pop up in the contextual taskbar.
I mean, hello. Hello.
Hey
Now,
there.
two things I want to mention. Ryan, you just mentioned something that it's a trick I don't talk about too often. When you do high res, high res image, sometimes these are not quite high enough resolution for a very high res image and you may have to sharpen it. But
Mhm.
for compositing, for entertainment, I use Harmonize all the time to make the cast shadows. It makes the most
Oh, okay.
beautiful cast shadows for the cast.
Yep.
And shadows don't have to be sharpened in focus.
Nope.
And then I put it down on the bottom. So a little trick. Now I'm having a little bug here on my computer. This is not a Photoshop bug. This is a me thing. And I want to show you a little workaround. So I want to see the variations. But do you see I'm tapping on them and it won't let me do it?
Oh, weird.
I have to, it's my computer. I figured out a workaround. So what I do is I just tap on the first one and oh, please don't let the demo gods do this to me.
I will also
So
say that
I,
Terry White also said that when he does harmonize, a lot of times it's dark. So he says always have the expectation to also hop in and you can also adjust with what you're harmonizing and you can adjust it individually to then say that you want to change the lighting as well. But
Exactly
that's
right. So
unrelated.
so here's my quick tip. I'm gonna delete the first one. There's the second one, which is a little less warm. I'm gonna
Mhm.
delete the second one, if the button will let me. I have to call my tech. There, delete the second one. And then there's the third one. And if I like the first one better, I just Command Z and Command Z and I can go back. So sometimes when your computer's messing with you, you can
Yep.
figure out a little trick and not have it be such a big deal. So in this case, what I want to do is I'm going to real quickly, I realize I want that background blurred because I think that looks amazing, but you can't see the bike.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo that. I've got a smart object. I'm going to go ahead and go to the filter and I'm going to do Gaussian blur. 7.4 because I was testing it. Now I don't want the whole image blurred. And when you use smart objects, you can mask out the effect of the filter. I used a gradient tool there, but I could also paint. Like let's say I don't want it blurry here on the sides.
Because you're just doing a
And
gradient tool
then
of black and white, right?
exactly right. And then I can go back and I have to go all the way back because as Ryan was saying, it adds part of the background. So if I put this blurred, you're going to see a little line right here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to pull my bishop. Right here, you'll see a line. So what I'll simply do is just reharmonize this. And in fact, I could just go back
Oh,
here.
smart. Okay.
So you can either reharmonize it or I sometimes I don't like to have 500 layers. It makes me
Yeah.
uncomfortable. So I'll just delete it so I don't accidentally have the wrong harmonization layer because look at that name, you guys. It just says harmonize. It
Yeah.
doesn't say harmonize one, harmonize two, harmonize with a blur background. So if I'm changing out the background, I almost immediately delete the non-viable harmonize because I'm the kind of idiot who would actually accidentally ship the job with both of them or the wrong one turned on.
Oh, and then it completely throws everything off.
Everything off. Yeah. So I have to be very careful about what I've turned on, what I'm doing, because I'm more likely to make a mistake.
And then also at the same
So let's
time, that
see.
kind of goes back to the whole idea of many different layers, and you could also always
Yep.
hop into layer cleanup if you have to at some point.
Yep.
And that
And
can full circle.
yeah. Yeah. And then, like Terry was saying, sometimes if it's dark, I happen to like the dark. So maybe I'll do a levels move on the background to make the background a little lighter.
Oh,
But
smart.
then I'd have to reharmonize. I'm not going to do the whole thing all over again. But I think y'all
Yep.
get the idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Because,
also if you look at the shadow right underneath the pedal, kind of as you were talking about, like the idea, and also under the tires as well, it just makes it to feel way more grounded in the entire area.
yeah.
And you could get that with a burn or maybe like a multiply, but it's gonna take a lot more work than some of the things that it has that we
Yeah.
have in the paint.
Exactly right. And the key is to be flexible. And I think the other thing, the key to know when you're looking at stuff like this is why the Harmonize works is it does a
Yeah.
little extra. That's why you have to redo it. You can't just, so I would have to redo it now that I did that levels move, right? So I think these are the little nuances that don't always get explained in the tutorials
Yeah.
and then you're looking at your work and you're like, why is this not looking so good?
I think you can also
Coolio?
something to be learned about, like if you wanted to do something with Harmonize, you also wanted to do it yourself and then see kind of the comparison of the two, where you're going to be able to see kind of like what it did and
Yes.
then what you did and see like why does mine look off when the Harmonize looks like it's working, like what are the things that it's accounting for
Yeah.
that I didn't account for.
Do you know what? I'm so glad you just said that too, because do you all see this? Oh God, right. I never talk about this. There's a mask. So
Yeah.
what the harmonized layer has a mask. So you are free to go in and erase or add back. So
Oh,
you're
cool.
not limited.
Yeah.
And in fact, this is when I said I use the shadows, I use it for shadows, I redo the mask. So please know that you have a lot more flexibility in this file than you think you do.
Oh, yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Awesome. All
That's
right. I
fun.
want to show you a more complicated file. And I've talked about this, Jesus and I've talked about this before, that, comp versus finishing and how we have to build this. But with this rotate object now, this is part of how I'm choosing to learn AI. I'm going back to old jobs and saying, how would I do this now that there's new technology?
Yeah.
And so, for example, the rotate object for this, I think is so cool. So let's go ahead and open that one up
We
and
always
let's
end
talk
up with
about it.
poker and alcohol with you, don't we?
Well,
I'm kidding.
I wouldn't have been the one to call it out, but my friend. So that last rotate object we did or I did was my own photo. But you don't have to do your own photo. You can actually go get stock. So I got a playing card from Adobe Stock and I don't know if y'all know this, but you can tap the plus button on the contextual taskbar and get free Adobe Stock.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so if you want to try it now, the selection is a little more limited.
Right.
So playing cards, but it is there, and I'm going to go ahead and hit return just so you can see what's available. Now, for me, for this particular job, I did not find the combination I wanted.
Right.
So I went in ahead to Adobe Stock and got my own. And I didn't usually mention this, but I utilize libraries all the time, all the time. Now, because we're doing a stream, there's a delay, but there you go. So here are my libraries that are coming in, and I can go in and so I have so many libraries. I use them for all. These are all my clients
Oh, that's
that are in
fun.
here, and I can type in playing cards, and it'll pop up and whatnot. So I already have it in here, but I just want to show you like BLT. That's one of my clients. If I scroll down, I can look at the models, the graphics, the characters, all these kinds of things. Again, you'll see the delay here because we're streaming. And because I use this so much, do you see how much is in here? I mean, I
That's
use
great,
this
though.
all the time. It's amazing. And I can also collaborate and share my libraries with other people who I'm working with so that if they need the assets, they can get the assets out also. Anyway, so I
Yeah,
have gone
shareable.
ahead. Yes, shareable. And all I have is I have these playing cards
Yep.
and I did a remove background, easy
I
peasy
was
lemon
gonna ask about
squeezy,
that.
just
Yep.
that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it. So I will start it from scratch. Do you guys notice? Please look on the contextual taskbar. You don't see rotate, right?
What are we gonna do?
What are you going to do? You tap on that little button. This little, what is it? Parallelogram? No, square. What would you call that, Ryan? What is that
Like a
button?
little like polygon
Sticks with dots,
style.
polygon. I don't know. What the hell do we call this? If you tap on that, I
Yep.
know.
It's like a transform icon, kind of.
Yeah, there you go. I kind of get tripped up on the icons. So I'm going to
Yep.
go ahead and say rotate object. Now, I just want to remind you, it's going to make it low res because it's like, well, how am I going to show you this and do it quickly,
Right, and do ever 360 different. I mean, it's not exactly
right?
360, but essentially 360 generations to then be able to
And I will,
hop between them.
yeah, exactly right. So I'm going to go ahead and put it here. And what I love about this versus me building this by hand, I want you to look at something. Do you see the card slightly lifted?
Yeah,
Love that. I love that. So I'm going to
gives
go
you a
ahead
lot
and
of
put it
depth.
here. Yeah.
Also, I'm seeing a comment from Mabel in the chat saying that they're using Claude and GPT to create their prompts, and that works like a charm as well.
Yes.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
also that. I know, like within Firefly Boards too, there's a button to also enhance prompt. Not in Photoshop yet, but
Yeah,
And I don't have
yeah.
any insider knowledge, but I would imagine that eventually that would probably also come to Photoshop. But like I said,
So
that's not
here's what I'm gonna,
official.
yeah, it's not yet. So here's what I'm gonna do real quick, sweetheart. I'm gonna go ahead and move this down and I'm gonna move it under the poker chips. I
Okay.
moved it into the poker chips.
Oh,
Hate
and this
that.
is the playing cards layer
Yeah.
that we just rotated.
And so, yeah. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit harmonize because you always have to harmonize it.
And already we can
But
see there's a few different things here. There's the casting the shadow from the poker chips that previously was affecting the table differently, and then we also have the shadow that's coming from a rotated object that is also
yep.
existing, that
Yeah.
hopefully gets updated.
Yeah. I mean, this is so cool. I, I
Yeah,
I can't even tell you how painful this would have been a year ago.
absolutely.
So painful. And
S-
the other thing to remember about this too is sometimes this is ideation. Like sometimes you're not even done yet. This is just
right,
to see if, and then you can go in and really make it tack sharp. But do you really want to spend 4 hours laying these playing cards on a table to see if the client's going to like it?
right.
No, you don't want to do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some blood on it. And because, that's fun too.
Whatever you
Because,
were gonna say next,
stay
that's not
aside.
what I was expecting for you to say
No, it
next.
wasn't, wasn't. But I hope you guys are getting the idea of how flexible this is. And again, we talked about that with the bike. You can, and as you said, Terry White mentioned, you can do a curve layer. So look where I am in the palette. I'm on my harmonized layer right there.
Yep.
And I've just put a curve on top of that. And on the curve, I can tap with this button and say, hey, I kind of want to bring this value down here. Oh, that's all the way at the whites. Oh, it's affecting everything. Yeah, that's all right. I can just tap on my rotated object to make a mask and mask it out.
Oh, smart.
Now, some eagle-eyed person here is going to notice that crop here. That's because the blood has a mask. Where's my blood? Where's my blood? There's my blood.
Oh, yeah, and you just did that trick that we were talking about
The
earlier
trick to
with
find your layer.
finding your
There's my
layers.
blood left. So I can turn the blood mask off and, oh, that's what I did. I just need to either paint it in. Here's another retouching tip I'm going to give you. A lot of people would just select the object and mask the blood to it.
Okay.
Something happens to your eyes when you look at that. You don't see what it's doing. My preference is literally to take my pen and paint over it so that my eyes are literally seeing everything that it's touching
Right.
so that I don't get a mistake.
Okay.
Because it is
So it's a
so
little bit of
easy.
security for you.
Exactly right. If your cursor is going over it, your eye is looking at it, you won't have a mistake.
Smart.
But I mean, holy guacamole, that's amazing, I think.
Yeah.
And in
No.
2 seconds with this rotate object, and it's definitely a game changer. There's going to be some resolution issues when you harmonize, so you do have to be careful with that. You might need to enhance afterwards, but
But it's also cool seeing the level of detail, resolution aside, of the idea that it was able to keep the fidelity of the K and the
yeah,
intricate illustration as you kind of moved it around. It still feels like it's the
yeah.
same card.
Yeah. And I mean, this
Which
needs
is
to be
kind of
fixed.
cool.
This card's at a wonky angle. Okay. And there's a little line there, but that's for later. That's the money job when they're paying you to do the retouching. This is the concepting and hey, do you want it? Would you like that?
Yep.
And another trick, oh my gosh, we haven't talked about this. Another trick is even though that took me 2 seconds, don't deliver that in 2 seconds.
Of
Don't.
course.
You sit on that because you want to charge for that. All right, I want to show you another one because I'm sorry, I just think it's important to talk about real stuff.
Oh,
You
of
want to
course.
still be able to work, and if you can do the if AI and these amazing techniques are gonna make you go faster, you don't want to lose your hourly rate. You don't want to lose your money, so you need to sit on some of this for a while. Okay, I'm sorry. I hope that's not politically incorrect to talk about. All right. I told you Monday is redo job. So I'm going to open up this job and talk to you about how to utilize AI and rotate object for this. I'm going to clean this up real quick. How are we doing on time, sweetheart?
I was gonna say this is gonna be about our last thing that we probably can work on because we only got a few minutes
Okay.
left.
Okay. Okay.
But
I always
interested
go
and
too
excited
long.
to see what
Okay.
this looks like.
All right. Super fast. Okay. Again, I cannot begin to tell you this was the job. Buddy Games, new series from NBC. This was a pain in the ass. It had to be done in 3D. So what did I
Hmm.
do? I went to Adobe Stock and I got a arrow.
Okay.
And once again, in fact, because this is the last one, I'm not going to go through that whole render. I rotated it. So this arrow,
With the
I
object
rotated
edit
it,
rotation.
edit rotation, just like we've just been doing all of them, just like the
Hmm.
cards. So I went from this arrow, there it is, and then I harmonized it. But watch this. The harmonize is not going to work. And I want to show you how you fix these things. Like it'll get me close, but it's
Okay.
not quite going to work.
I'm interested to see how it's not working too.
Yeah.
Like in what way?
Yeah. Well, do you notice that if you guys look at this, the arrow is an illustration,
Right.
right? It's not a
I was wondering
photo,
about that.
and it's going
Yeah.
in a photographic object, scene.
Gotcha. Let's see. I'm also seeing from earlier, Drew said that was crazy. Nate said that it was mad. So people
Yeah.
are very excited about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, cool, but not quite what I'm looking for.
Right.
It's shadowed. It's because it's an illustration. So what
Yeah.
do we do instead? So instead, or in addition to what I did
Oh, interesting.
in Gemini, I selected it. So in Gemini, and I told you before, let me see if I can do it fast. The render, I'm a little concerned about time, but we'll see. So I do a square selection because I told you with Gemini,
Yep.
and the prompt was make arrow photorealistic, add
Oh,
feather details.
photorealistic got completely
Jeez,
botched for
Mary.
some reason.
Because have we talked about my typing skills?
There you
And
go. You
so I
got
want
it.
to make sure I'm on the right layer, paste, make sure I'm on the right prompt. Always check which model you're on and hit generate
And then from there, it'll then transform that
into a
arrow
photo.
that you had rotated. So it's like, yeah, you're kind of
Yeah.
compounding and layering things on top of each other
Yes.
with like
And
techniques and
this
tools to
is
then
what
be
I
able to get
feel
to where
like
you need.
doesn't get talked about enough. It's
Yeah.
not a one-step thing. Like that arrow is awesome, but it can't be a cartoon. Now, this render didn't work out so well. We talked about this before. You sometimes have to do it more often. The first render I did last time came out like that. That was my
Oh, that's
first one.
great.
Perfect.
And also just the texture of the wood too
Perfect.
is even
I mean, look
is
at it.
great, which is nice. Yeah.
So what's the takeaway here? Free stock or get stock, put it in, rotate it, put it in position, harmonize, see if it can work in your zone. If not, then or get it close and then use Gemini or Flux to make it photorealistic.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so
Yay.
much for walking us through so many different things. I mean, we got through
Yeah.
rotate object, we got through a different harmonize, we got through removing wires and distractions. What else? I feel like I'm missing another one that we had.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you,
Okay.
stay tuned, you guys, because Jesus is coming next and he's going to rock it all about, he's going to go even further into this rotate object. And he is definitely a prompting king.
Absolutely. Well, thank you everyone so much for hanging out in chat and giving us your questions. Like we were saying earlier, you can find Lisa online, just at lisacarney.com. But then also that's linked in the description. And we hope to see you all real soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me, you guys. It's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. All right. Bye, guys.